Hello friends, today I'm going to talk to you about the first thing I learned on my journey. To start off with, I give all honor and glory and praise to the Lord, for He is worthy of all honor and glory and praise. And my prayer is that this will help you, that it will minister to you, and that hopefully through what I have learned, you will learn as you go through your seasonal journey. The first thing that I learned is if we're willing, God will put things in place to teach us to trust Him. After Mama came home, I was one day cleaning house and I was thinking about what the doctors had said and what was coming up and what we may be facing. And I said, Lord, tell me how I'm supposed to handle this. I don't know how to do this. I've never done this before. Tell me. I need to know what to do. And immediately the Spirit of God brought me to Proverbs 3, verses 5 and 6. Trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways acknowledge Him, and He'll make your path straight. And I said, okay, Lord, now you're going to have to teach me how to trust you because I'm just not sure. Yes, I am 62 years of age. I've been a Christian for a number of years, but this was a different level of trust. I've trusted Him in other things, but this was something totally different. This was a new seasonal journey, and I needed to know how to trust Him. Well, when I realized that, I realized too that I was raised to work things out for myself. That was my mother. That's the way she taught us because that's the way she was. She said, you need to do it yourself as much as possible. You need to work hard. You need to do all of these things. And I had learned to trust, I guess, in what I could do and not necessarily fully trust in the Lord. But now I had to release control. Last time I told you I released control, but this was a different level of control I was releasing. And it couldn't just be lip service. It had to be heart, mind, and soul. I had to do it all, every bit of it. I've always had a hard time asking for help. I'll first try to attempt it myself. And then if I can't, I'm going to try to find a way to get it done without asking for help. That's just me because that's the way I was taught. That was the way I was raised. But this was going to be different. This wasn't moving a piece of furniture or making adjustments to pay a bill. It was involving a person's life and care. It was going to involve releasing my sense of privacy and personal space, my home, my personal space, and trusting God to help me deal with it. See, that was one of the things that I was struggling with for years, was the fact that all of a sudden I had gotten out of my quiet life. My life had not it was not quiet anymore. I had lived in a certain sense of privacy and routine, and then 14 years ago that routine was disrupted completely. And as the years went on, I got to realizing how hard it was for me to lose that sense of privacy. And let me explain. I was one that I didn't tell my mother a lot of things about my personal life and about my struggles and the things that we were struggling with and we were dealing with. I tried to keep some things from her, basically. I didn't feel like I needed to weigh her down with that. I didn't feel like I needed to burden her with that. My mother was, as one of my siblings said, found things to worry about. She was always a worrier. She, even if there wasn't anything to worry about, it seemed like she would come up with something. And sometimes it was just off the wall. And so I tried to keep her from that. Well, her moving into our home made that difficult. There were things I kept from her, but there were things I couldn't keep from her. She lived here. She saw everything. She knew when there was a problem with the house. She knew if we had an issue with something. She knew if we were sick. She knew all those things. And it became a source of stress for me. Now I'm having to go at a different level. Now, because I couldn't take care of my mother by myself with what was coming up, I had to release some of those things. I had to release some of that control. I had to open up my home. I had to open up my personal space. And all of a sudden, my personal life, my evening routine, my daily routine for that matter, was going to be totally changed. But even in that, God helped me through it. He would bring people into my life to help me, direct me, to teach me. He brought in family that was wonderful. He brought hospice in, which was a godsend. They are just wonderful people. He brought in medical professionals. He brought in friends. He brought in so many things to help teach me. Not only that, when I started to second guess myself, when I had made decisions or wondered if the decision I had made, I was fully trusting Him. When I made that decision, I had a sense of uncertainty, I guess you could say. But God would allow a song, a message, a text, someone would say something. There was always someone there or something there that God would send along to reassure me, okay, Debbie, you're on the right path. You're doing the right thing. When I felt overwhelmed, when I felt confused, when I felt uncertain on what I was supposed to do, God again would bring individuals into my life. He'd have a song that played on the radio, or somebody would make a statement, or I'd watch a video of a message or a testimony or a sermon or something. There would be something that would come along and help me. At that time too, during my private Bible study and prayer, because I usually did it at night, when everybody was asleep, when things were quiet outside, I would sit down and I would do my personal Bible study and prayer. All of a sudden, God began to open up scriptures to me. All of a sudden, I would read scriptures that I had read many times, and something would literally almost like jump off the page at me. It would just resonate with me. And it was like God was saying, Debbie, look at this verse closer. Do a little bit more digging, do a little bit more research. So I would research that out, and I would find something that later on in time I would need. Didn't realize it at the time when I did the research, when I did a study on it further, but later on it would be the very thing I needed at the right time. God was showing me He could be trusted to know what I needed when I needed it. And even though I didn't know I needed it, He did. Even though I didn't know what it was ahead, He did. He was once again bringing to life the scripture that says in Matthew 6 and 8, your Father already knows what you have need of before you ask Him. So let me just tell you again, if you're willing to trust God, God will put things in place to teach you how to trust Him. God bless you.